economics, it is difficult to prove the cause and effect relationship between human capital formation and economic growth, because it is not easy to calculate human capital formation, especially in case of education sector and health sector. How you measure the education formation, human capital formation in education sector? That is in the year of, what are the year of schooling, teacher pupil ratio in the country, and enrollment rate may not sometime that may not be reflect the true quality of education. So it is difficult to calculate human capital formation. Suppose the government is spending so much on education sector, but if the result is not as per expected, so there is no human capital formation after so much spending, after so much efforts for education sector. Now health sector is also the same case. Health services measured in terms of many things like life expectancy, mortality rate, and that may also not represent the true health status of the people in the country. So that is why we can say that in the case of education and health sector, sometime it is not reflecting the true picture, so that human capital formation is not done in the country, because result is very important, outcome is very important. Outcome from health and education sector should be positive. Only in that case human capital formation will be there. So it is difficult to establish relation between the education and health and human capital formation and the contribution of human capital formation for economic growth. Now the relation between human capital and economic growth, that can come from 1 mark. When there is a higher income, then there is a higher level of human capital. When there is a higher level of human capital, then there will be growth of income. They are correlated with each other. But due to the deficiency in the education sector and health sector, that may not contribute to true human capital formation in the country. Now development indicators of education and health sector, that if you can't remember these data, then you have to remember the up and down of these data. For example, in 1951, that is a real per capita income. So now what is real per capita income, that you should know. So real per capita income means you are calculating income at constant prices, and per capita income is average income earned by a person in a given year and area. So that means total income is divided by total population is the per capita income. Here you can get the definition: average income earned per person in a given year and area. National income, if the national income is divided by total population, here national income, because that is a real per capita income, so national income is to be monetary value of all goods and services produced in the economy multiply by constant prices. That should be base year price should be taken. So national income is this. So now you can calculate per capita income, real per capita income, and there you can see the data. That is 7,651, that has been increasing. So there is you can say so that there is an increasing trend of per capita income from 1950 to 2014-15. If you can't remember the data, you should remember the trend. आपको ट्रेंड याद रखना पड़ेगा कि ये इंक्रीजिंग ट्रेंड में है, और कहीं डिक्रीज़ हुआ तो डिक्रीजिंग, अगर कहीं बहुत ज़्यादा रेट से बढ़ा तो वो भी आपको मेंशन करना पड़ेगा. करते हो तो अच्छी बात है. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट थिंग इज क्रूड डेथ रेट. सो दैट इज़ अ क्रूड डेथ रेट. Crude death rate means total number of deaths to resident in a specified geographical area divided by the total population for a specified time, and there that is multiplied by 1 lakh, but here is taken as a 1000 per population. It is mentioning that we are taking multiplication of 1000. You can get the definition from here: total number of deaths to the resident in a specified geographical area divided by the total population, and then it should be multiplied by 1 lakh. Generally it is multiplied by the 1 lakh, especially in the western countries, but now it is taken as the 1000. Multiplication of 1000 is there because that is written in the table. And here the death rate, mortality rate is also there. Mortality rate basically the proportion of the population. Basically the proportion of population died, the number of death in the particular population, and to the size of total population. So how many deaths are there out of the total population? That is basically the mortality rate. And crude death rate is the total number of death of resident in a specified area divided by the total population and multiply by 1 lakh or 1000 is up to you. Fine. Now it depends upon the it depends upon the authority who are calculating and using this formula. And suppose in our table it is using as 1000, but in many tables I have seen that is 1 lakh. So crude death rate, what is the crude death rate? That has been decreasing. Trend is decreasing. 25, 12, 9, 10, 7, and there is a huge decrease from 1950 to 1981, that you can mention. While if the question comes that the development explain the trends of development indicators in the education and health sector. So they are the indicators of education and health sector and how they are performing from 1950 to 2014-15. That question can be asked for 4 marks. Now the next thing is infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate, basically the number of death per 1,000 live birth of a children under 1 year of age. There you can get the definition, that is the number of death per 1,000 live birth of children under 1 year of age, and that is formalized like this: number of children dying under 1 age by number of live birth during the year into 1,000. There you can get the infant mortality rate. Now infant mortality rate, if we are just analyzing, then infant mortality rate has been increasing trend. No, that has been decreasing. 146, 110, 80, 63 and 37. That has been decreasing, and huge decrease from 1951 to 2014-15. That you can mention. Now the next thing is life expectancy of male at birth. Means how much live year can be expected from male, number of year that a person is likely to live, number of year that a male can likely to live, and then after that number of year that a female can likely to live, that is the female can likely to live and that male can likely to live in a country like India or in a specified area where about which you want to discuss. So here the life expectancy has been increasing, 67 for male and 70 for female. Female are having 3 more years as per life expectancy. So 37.20, and then that has been increasing to 67. So there is a huge increase in life expectancy of male and there is a huge increase in life expectancy of female both. Now literacy rate. What is the literacy rate? Literacy rate means literacy among the person age 15 year and above, that is the literacy rate. Literacy rate means who can read and write well. Total number of literate in a given age group as a percentage of total population in that age group. So literate people is basically the age group has been taken up to 15 year for the literate people who can write and read, who can read and write very well. That is from the 15 to 24 years. So this is the indicator, and now the literacy rate, if we are seeing that, then that has been also increased, a huge increase in literacy rate, 16.61 to 76. So these are the trend, these are the analysis of indicators showing human capital growth by improvement in the education and health sector. As you see, there is increase in the increasing trend in the education and health sector, but and at a very faster rate. So that is also that we can say that there is a human capital formation also increasing in the country. So because as per these indicators, we can tell that human capital formation is also there in the country. So now in the NCERT also there is a report by Deutsche Bank and World Bank. These are the banks which have given report for the India, that India is well emerging country and India is giving importance to education and health sector. They are also noticing this, and that's why they are mentioning in NCERT. And here the report of World Bank that India and the knowledge economy, leveraging strength and opportunities, states that India should make the transition into knowledge economy. Now they are giving more importance to skilled labor and they are giving more importance to education sector, and they are investing a lot for invention, education and all. So these are the reports by these two banks, and Deutsche Bank and World Bank. They are also justified that definitely there is a human capital formation and India is a knowledge economy. That is a growing economy that is giving more importance to real capital income. There is more importance to education and health sector both. So India as a knowledge economy has been showing the impressive record of the past decade. What are these? Entrepreneur, bureaucrats and politicians now advancing views about how India can transform. They are giving their views by transformation of India into IT and into basically knowledge based economy. That should be there. E-governance has been introduced, and now the value of IT basically depends upon the existing level of economic development, and they can make existing asset and processes more effective, efficiently, and more invention should be there in IT sector. IT sector is a very emerging sector and it's very important. So data collection, data analysis, these type of job and coding of data, these are very important nowadays and earning a lot Now, next thing is importance of role of human capital formation. What is the importance of and role of the human capital formation for the economy? First of all, effective use of physical capital. If there is a human capital formation, the productivity of the physical capital can be increased, or physical capital can be used for full utilization of that resources. And with the human skill and human efforts, the physical capital can be used to more effective way, in a more effective way. So what is the physical capital? Because you have read it earlier also, physical capital is the resources which is used for further production. It includes fixed assets like machinery, land and building and all. Now the next thing is higher productivity and production can be possible only with the human capital formation. So human capital formation raises the productivity, and that increases the knowledge, skill. That is also supported by World Bank, the Deutsche Bank, that definitely the India is giving importance to education sector and knowledge economy. Now the next thing is increase in productivity. Definitely it is very material thing, because productivity का मतलब ये हुआ कि आप वही resources पहले 5 यूनिट बना रहे हैं, अब वही resources productivity increase होने के बाद 10 यूनिट्स बना रहे हैं. Same resources, same money is there. So basically productivity is very important. Productivity तभी बढ़ेगी जब आप ट्रेनिंग दोगे, स्किल इंक्रीज़ करोगे, ठीक है, क्वालिटी एजुकेशन दोगे, तो इवन देन ओनली इन दिस वे प्रोडक्टिविटी कैन बी इंक्रीज़. ठीक है, टेक्निकल स्किल प्रोवाइड करोगे, इवन देन प्रोडक्टिविटी कैन बी इंक्रीज़. इसके बाद अगली बात करता है इन्वेंशन, इनोवेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकल इंप्रूवमेंट. देयर इज़ अ invention, innovation and technological improvement. All the other things are very important. Education provides knowledge and so that the educated people can do more, advancement in all the fields. They can facilitate invention and innovation. Similarly, the educated labor force also adapt the new technology and help to increase the productivity in the economy. Modernization of attitudes. So modernization of attitude is also that has been introduced with the human capital formation, with the education and health sector both. So modernization means that there should be respect for all work, and definitely human capital formation helps in changing the mental outlook, so that there is a both male and female can participate equally for the Indian economy. It should not be the role of only one. And also it includes that not to follow the traditional technology, either to or the traditional technology which are basically degrade technologies, and it's better to adopt or learn new technologies in the economy. So that is a modernization of the attitude that can be possible only with the educated youth, because otherwise without education it's very difficult to grab or learn the new things. Now increases life expectancy. So that is also the part of human capital formation, that human capital formation is there, that definitely that means the life expectancy of people has been increased. As you have just go through the trend from 1951 to 2014, there is an increasing trend of life expectancy, huge increasing trend of high life expectancy, and it definitely gives the quality of the life and with the availability of all health facilities. Now improve quality of life, they are basically mentioning over there. Quality of life can be increased by spending on health, definitely by taking nutrients value, by having all the proper immunization in the economy, or clean mission. They all can contribute for improving the quality of life. Now control of population growth, that is also very important, because with the growth of economy, definitely resources have been increased, but if the population increase in the same way, then it should not be benefited to all the economy. So definitely the educated and literate population should be increased comparatively illiterate population. So there is a more spread of education in this way, and more effort should be from the government side. So that is the human capital formation. So these are all the basically you can say indicators for human capital formation. If there will be human capital formation, then this will be analyzed in all these points, through all these points. Definitely human capital formation is there, the quality of life will increase, life expectancy will increase, control of population growth, especially say illiterate person. Modernization of attitude, people are so much adaptable for the new technology, new things. Innovation and invention will be there. Education sector will be grown. So all these things indicates that if there is a human capital formation, then there will be increase in all these things. And now the problems of human capital formation. There are many problems for human capital formation also. There is a insufficient resources. Resources are basically insufficient in the economy in the India. We are talking about India here because Indian economy is there that you have to discuss. So facilities are not appropriate so that human capital formation could be possible, and that the rate is very low as compared to expected. So here the serious inefficiency is there. There is a no proper utilization of resources of society by the even the educated youth, and also many illiterate person. There is a massive illiteracy and non-education which contributes only for the inefficient utilization of resources in the society. Brain drain. People who are very educated, who are well trained, they shifted from one place to another in search of better job, better opportunities, and they want their talent to be used in a better way. So definitely there is a migration, brain drain is there, which is very much problem for the economy, and it leads to the loss of the quality people like high profile doctors and engineers. They used to go from one country to another country. Now there is next thing is high growth of population. There is a high growth of population, so resources are not enough to compete with the growth of population. When resources has been increased, and in the simultaneously population also increase, so benefit cannot be achieved in that way. Several imbalances are there like male female ratio, and people who compare to primary and secondary education, they are less, and general productivity is also decreasing. Now people are not diverting through they definitely completed primary education, but they are not going for the secondary education and higher education. The ratio between the people, or you can say students in higher education, is very less than primary education. So after getting higher education, they can be more productive. Lack of proper manpower planning is there, because manpower is definitely huge in the way, especially youth is in highest percentage. Youth is in higher percentage in comparatively all the other countries. We are having more youth in the country, so there is an imbalance between the demand and supply of human resources in the country. So that is the main problem. Everybody want highly skilled personnel in the country, but the absence of balance is there. Now the next thing is weak science and technology. There is a proper advancement of science and technology required in the economy, so that in the terms of science and technology, there is a weakness, because you can say there can be many reasons for that. There's a brain drain, can be there can be not using the talent of the people in the country, not giving them so much chances, not giving them enough money, or say help to those people, so that science and technology could be developed in a better way. So there is a definitely weak in the science and technology. If the science and technology will weak, then there will be definitely problem for human capital formation in the economy. So these are the problems for human capital formation which you have to do.